Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Crinkly Bag Show. This is some nice Australian licorice that I've been eating for the past couple of days because the reason I have been kind of missing in action is because I had laryngitis, which is awful and terrible, and if I had video of that, I still wouldn't show you because it's awful and terrible. Also related to this is that licorice helps your voice, and since it's Australian, the band we're looking at today is the Amity Affliction. Speaking of Australia, I think it's still on fire, and I'm pretty sure that their prime minister just likes watching the world burn. I'm sure that Joel would share that same opinion. Anyways, into the review now. Now this song I listened to beforehand this time and tried to do a more comprehensive look at it, and it's good. So I'm gonna let this play, and we're gonna take a look at this. So we got good old poetic, deep Amity. We got this nice emotional synth just right here sitting over the music while we get these nice, beautiful shots of the woods. Their videographer is great, whoever he is. I like it. It looks good.
When the dreamer dies, so dies.
Okay. Aaron's voice is still really awesome. His mustache is scaring me, but it's fine. And I don't think their drummer's changing dynamics, even though the drums in the song are changing dynamics, but... Okay. Now that's nice. Alright. That is awesome. Now look, look, the drums are more dynamic than what's going on in the video. Aaron's mustache is creepy, whatever. The synth is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. The vocals are beautiful, as always. His voice is great. But that, with Joel's vocals have gotten grittier and more aggressive, and I love it. And I love the fact that that part wasn't necessarily blaringly heavy to have him do screams over it. Now, you see, like, we've seen that Amity's going in this direction for a long time. But this kind of sounds almost like an Australian version of Bring Me the Horizon. I mean, Bring Me the Horizon went in that weird direction of like, let's add more synth and pop type stuff into our music. And they seem to be doing a similar thing, except keeping it more to the side of metalcore rather than more to the side of like radio pop. So this is pretty wonderful as it starts. They also all look very different. I think they changed drummers, but they've definitely matured for a long time since they did Chasing Ghosts in like 2012 or even back on Glory Days. So this is absolutely wonderful to see. I love the keys. I love the fact that Aaron's voice has been maintained, and I love Joel's contribution to the song so far.
When the dreamer dies, so dies the dream. Turn me inside out, soak me in bleach. Soak me in bleach. I'm buried alive, life buries me. Cover my body, soak me in bleach. Soak me in bleach. Feels like
Now, not to be a little critical, I know, I'm sorry, I'm not talking over the music. I had to headbang to that. I had to, because that is actually impressive when it comes to song form. All these metalcore bands constantly, it's like, hey, the verses are screamed and the chorus is sung. Done. No. Fuck that. This chorus has screams in it. The pre-chorus has screams entirely. And the heavier part of the song is the chorus. The lighter parts are the verse. Which is just absolutely wonderful and outstanding to see. It's a different formula. It's something new. That we don't have to get tired of the same old thing over and over and over again. You know, you constantly have to see them doing that same exact thing. But, you know, this is a different formula and is one that fits their music a lot better, too. I heard it on Pittsburgh, you know, back when they made that album, I don't know. I'll put it up on the screen. They made the album with Pittsburgh and Death's Hand and all that on it, and it was a good album. It wasn't their best, though, and we thought that Amity Affliction for a while was going downhill until their last album came out, and it's like, okay, this is looking more hopeful because it's more interesting. And now they're coming back to that heavier side that they have after the last album while keeping aspects of the whole synth rock feel that they kind of developed on that album when they were trying to add in more synth and take out some of the guitar. So I kind of like this exchange, and I like the direction that it's going in.
Feels like I'm bleeding.
All right.
Don't know what to do.
Aaron's voice is, I think, one of the best in the scene, honestly. He's got a really clean voice. These, Joel's screams are also amazing. They're angry, they're gritty, they're emotional. Just like, look at him go. He's a very good writer. I love the backing screams on this too. Okay, now before it goes into the sick breakdown that they put in this song, I absolutely love it. I did say I like the backing screams, but also just the push and pull at the same time of what they're doing. Not just the fact that they changed how song form works in this genre that they've been in for over a decade now. They've created an emotional push and pull. We got that somber ambient beginning, the ambient vocals, and then it kind of got a little bit more energetic, but not quite there as a pre-chorus, with Joel just screaming with no guitar accompaniment in it, which is just really interesting and nice to see. And now it's got these heavy, driving, energetic choruses. Maybe not the heaviest, but, you know, heavy in comparison to the rest of the song. And that is what makes this song the most interesting to me, not necessarily what the instruments are doing. Because when I look at the instruments, you know, and you know, there's some lighter parts with screams, there's some ambience, there's this, it's all cool. But a lot of the instruments seem to not be doing a lot dynamically until we get to this point in the video and the breakdown comes in, and my God, the breakdown's beautiful. I love that. So that's just, I love it. I love the trippy synth. I love the fact that the guitar and the bass just did that nice little, I believe, palm muted area right there where it just, you know, it changes it up just enough. The song is not super dynamic in the instruments. It's not. But it does tastefully do what it is supposed to do to add the emotion it wants into the song. And Joel's lyrics are typically a lot more, you know, drawn out. They're a lot more wordy. It's more of like, it feels like he wants to say a lot, but he can't say a lot. But he still tries to do that and find some balance there. But in this one, I mean, even the chorus, we just hear "Soak Me in Bleach" over and over again like a hook. And then even here in the breakdown, I mean, we finally get back to Joel making his ocean references, which everyone always makes jokes about. But, you know, we don't see as much lyrical content or as much lyrical depth as we want to. But I think he still gets his point across emotionally. I think he's still doing exactly what he wants to do with his music, like he did when he was experiencing a lot of his past with alcoholism and mental illness. But now that he's not writing about that as much, he's writing about just new things, new perspectives, new, you know, beliefs that inspire him to write music. And he's done it in a tasteful way that kind of changes this almost into a pop metalcore feel because of the structure of the song and because of the way it's written and because the lyrics are the way that they are. They're so, you know, minimal. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I really don't think it's bad at all. I actually really enjoy this because it actually seems to be picking up on where they kind of were trying to transition on their last two albums, and they've kind of found their footing. I also like the very subtle vocals effects on Aaron's voice. You know, you don't really like here. That little subtle effect, you know? It's a little thing, but it makes a big difference. And of course, we have a nice calm stream afterwards. So, you know, like I said, there's a subtle effect there. The synth is nice. I like that they changed up so that when it came out of the breakdown, they kept that. There's a little bit of a change in the guitar, and there's a little bit of a change in the synth. And I like that it arranged it so that the breakdown changed the arrangement of the music, of the instruments in the song. So we went from having the typical chorus, and then suddenly a breakdown, and now the instruments are a little different. Still the same motive, but now it's a little different. So I think that was an exceptionally well done song, and I don't have a ton of critical points about the song itself, other than the fact that like the guitar and bass weren't super dynamic throughout the song, and the mix is a little weird to me personally. I get that they want the wall of sound, and as weird as it sounds, I'm not the biggest fan of the wall of sound, because a lot of people try to create that and then it ends up sounding kind of just like a wash of just noise, and it becomes harder to pick things apart if the mix and master is not done correctly. But this specific part that I'm pointing out here is just the chorus. The rest of the song's great. The chorus, though, just the guitar and the bass are doing exactly what you expect a guitar and bass to do, and it's just kind of the rhythm sections there. And the drums seem a little bit too quiet underneath it, and the guitar seems just a little bit too loud. But that's very nitpicky. Overall, the song was amazing. You could feel the bass in the song. I dig the guitar tone, especially in the breakdown. The guitar tone was outstanding, you know, and the screams are amazing. Emotive, aggressive, gritty. He's getting better with his voice. He's getting more control on it, is getting the emotion into it after coming back from not having, you know, a lot to write about at first and feeling kind of lost in the way that he was, or the way that it was described, where he says, I don't want to write these after this album, I'm not writing about his struggling with alcoholism anymore, I think is what he said in an interview. And Aaron's cleans are just Aaron's cleans. I mean, that's not to put him down. They're amazing cleans, but they're what we've been hearing since they started. Aaron's vocals have gotten a little better. He's tweaked himself, but he's always been a really good vocalist. And the drums, the snare, and the bass, I love it. The only issue of the drums is in the chorus. I don't know if you could hear it, but there's this little... Let me go back. Let me go back to the chorus. Right around here. It's I can't quite pick up if it's hitting twice or once, but it's just got this clicky, like kind of a tambourine type sound, and I don't know if that's just because they personally wanted it or if that's a mistake with their cymbal choice, but I'm not the biggest fan of how that cymbal sounds at that part. Personally, anyways, it just kind of makes me feel like there's like a metronome in the back, but the metronome is like made out of a piece of sheet metal. I don't know. Maybe that's just them. Maybe that's what they wanted. I understand that. But overall, I mean, other than those just like few little things that are just a personal thing to me, I mean, the drums got the boom that they have to, the bass is there, it's got the feel, it's making that fat, you know, that nice fat with a PH. No, it's got that nice rounded out where you could feel the bass. You can feel the rhythm. It's supporting the song. I like it. You know, and Aaron's always been good at that. Singing and playing bass is hard as shit. I've tried it a million times. You know, so there's not a lot you could really be critical on in this song. I mean, I even wrote down some notes here, and I'm looking at it, and it's just like, I don't have anything bad to say. What bad could I have to say? I don't have anything bad about the song, really. That's it. But the video, this is the part that I wanted to take a look at. The video, I can't help but laugh at this. All right, I can't help but laugh at the video a little bit, because it's got all these forest shots, and that's great. And then we go to them playing in the middle of the forest, and I mean, their videographer did a good job. These are really nice shots. These are really calming shots of nature, and I love it, and it fits it. And that's fine. But it just doesn't do anything. It's just not dynamic. You know, it's just, okay, we're playing in the middle of the woods. It's simple. It's effective. It does what it's supposed to do with a band their size, of course. It's a nice video. It looks nice. But it didn't have that outstanding theatrical quality that I like to look for in videos, where I'm looking for someone to show me some sort of meaning, to portray something that they feel in some sort of way that may not be literal, so that everyone can interpret it the way they want to. And I mean, this leaves it so open to interpretation that it really lets the song shine, and that's great, and that may have been what they were going for. But at the same time, just watching the video alone is not something that I would do. Meanwhile, with Resentment from A Day to Remember, with most Bring Me the Horizon like videos, August Burns Red even, I mean, just their videos are more interesting. They do a little bit more dynamically. And I get that most of those bands have a bigger budget than them, but it just seems like it's doing the same thing they've always done, which is kind of what I wanted to point out, actually, because if you go look up Chasing Ghosts. Right here. Chasing Ghosts. You go look up Chasing Ghosts, and, what do we have? Oh, look, a pretty forest. Look, a pretty forest. And, look, it's them in the middle of the woods, and it's just like, at least in this one, it had actually a story, I believe, where there was someone, like, running through the woods or chasing someone, and it's great. And so even this was more interesting and dynamic with, like, a storyline. But it's still like, hey, we're in the woods and we're a band that plays in the woods, and you're going to see mostly shots of us, and there's going to be a very minor story in it, So, I mean, that's just basically how I felt about Amity Affliction with the new video, too, because it's basically just kind of a mimic of that, but in a very different setting and different tone. But overall, the videographer did a good job of what he wanted to do and what the band wanted to do. So, while the video may be kind of meh for someone with some musical ADHD, as my friends call it, the song itself, emotive, screams were great, drums and guitar were cool, the guitar tone was great, and the breakdown was nasty as fuck. And honestly, with the new songwriting form, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful songwriting form, and I love seeing the new direction they're going in. This is the Amity that I want to see, and I really can't wait for the album to come out and see how well that does. I mean, this could be really big for them, I think. So overall, that's how I feel about it. That's what I think about this. It's a great song. Make sure to go listen to it. Band associated with this episode, I didn't have a piece of their merchandise, but I'll put it up. Cragmask, is that how we pronounce it? They came out with a song as well this Friday. So, of course, I want to put some attention on a local band. Public band? What the fuck am I saying? Local band in Connecticut. They are exceptionally good and have definitely made a name for themselves around here, and it's a name that I hear often from people. And they recently released a new song for the first time in I don't know how long. I haven't really heard them like releasing anything in a while, so it's nice to see that locals are still going just as strong. So everyone have a nice day. Thank you for tuning in very, very much. I will leave links up on the screen and whatnot to subscribe and like, and I would appreciate if you subscribe and like. And of course, check out the Amity Affliction and check out Cragmask. Have a nice day.